like to invite our next speaker, Mr. Sayed MAHDI FADHUL, to give us his speech titled, The Relationship Between Multicultural Teams and Project Performance. Mr. Sayed MAHDI, please take the floor.
Good afternoon. My name is Sayed MAHDI FADHUL. I will present for you my research topic, which is about the relationship between multicultural teams and project performance. I will start with the outline of the presentation, which is the research background, research rationale, statement of research problem, aims, impact of culture, framework, findings, and finally the conclusion. Globalization has affected everything in the world. It made the world as a global village. Teams are getting more diverse in their composition. Team members from different countries speaking different languages and from different backgrounds are doing work closely together. Managing cultural diversity has become an important element for today's organization. Recently, there is a broad understanding of the importance to deal with the diversity and to recognize the benefits and difficulties from different agents. Numerous researchers have studied and investigated culture and projects and assert that our understanding of cross-cultural management is inadequately developed and somewhat limited. Furthermore, there are limited theoretical and empirical studies concerning how cultural diversity could impact on team performance. The research in the area of people management has shown that there is a lack of study of the cultural aspect of people management and appears as emerging topic. Managing effective multicultural projects, and the current literature is not taken into consideration how effectively we can manage the multicultural teams. The above points towards the problem caused in managing culturally diverse workforce and their performance. Literature further highlights that this problem is even more pronounced in the different contexts. Hawking and Price, Stahl, and Arena and his colleague confirmed that there is still a need in further study to investigate the influence of culture on teams' dynamics and therefore on project performance. So the aim of this study is to investigate the cultural factors that influence the multicultural project team's performance and determine the cultural dimensions that would impact on the project performance. Going through the literature, first of all, we looked at how the impact can, is there any relationships between the culture itself and the performance, and we found out that there is a conflicting findings in the literature which shows about the impact of culture on performance. As you can see in the table that mostly there is a positive or negative or both impact or relationships to performance. Williams has studied, for example, in 1998, his study reviewed about 40 years of diversity studies and came to the conclusion there is no constant major effect of diversity on performance. Whereas on the other hand, Stahl and his colleagues in 2010 has conducted a meta-analysis of 108 empirical studies in performance in about 10,600 teams, and he found that there is a positive as well as a negative impact of culture on performance. Several researchers claims that the diverse teams has shown to outperform even the homogeneous teams. Culture has, as I said, positive and negative, and we can summarize this in a positive way as a greater skill base for team members can provide team members with a greater skill base, a broader range of vision, improve problem-solving capabilities, and create a greater creativity. On the other hand, can impact negatively by poor communication between team members, less cohesiveness, and got much more conflicts. Lack of knowledge to manage well culturally diverse teams is a major gap in the literature. And the disagreement between the reviewed research raises an important concern in regards to the characteristic of this issue and how best to analyze and investigate it. Throughout the literature, a summary of the main impact between from culture on the main team performance dynamics or constructs, it found out there is major impacts on integration, communication, trust, and knowledge sharing. Based on this summary, I came up with the framework of the research, which shows that the culture summarized in power, distance, uncertainty, avoidance, and masculinity and individualism. Therefore, it impacts on the team performance or team dynamics construct, which are integration, communication, trust, and knowledge sharing, and to play a role here as a mediating factors on the project performance. The conceptual framework is developed in order to address the cultural complexity within multicultural project teams and examine the relationships between national culture and team and project performance. The framework is expected to provide the crucial factors to be investigated in the context of project management. Finally, lack of knowledge about managing cultural differences successfully is a major challenge in achieving successful performance in a project. Choosing not to gain knowledge and understand the cultural differences complexity limits the chance to control the performance. The above argument is supported by the first analysis conducted by Hofstede in 1980, who proposed that 80% of the cultural differences in employees' behavior and attitudes are influenced by national culture, which still has resonance nowadays. Thank you for listening, and any question?
My question is for Sayed. First of all, thank you very much for your presentations, very interesting. I believe that I face the same problem with connecting culture to entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
I think in your thesis, you are connecting culture to project performance.
Yes.
However, in my literature, they suggested that we should associate culture with other factors, such as rules and regulations. In your case, I believe that there could be an important interaction between formal institutions, such as rules and regulations, with the culture. The second thing, I think that we have technology nowadays, and I believe that technology would minimize the impact of culture among different team members. So what do you think about these 2 points? Thank you.
Actually, I've looked at this. With mine, I'm looking at the multicultural teams. So I looked at the national culture, the people who comes from different cultures, grouped in one teams to do projects or whatever task they should give. I'm looking at how these from different cultural backgrounds can integrate or communicate together, and how this will therefore affect on the project performance at the end. For that, I've adopted Hofstede model, and because there is some debate on Hofstede models, I've adopted his questionnaire and I implemented this questionnaire to these groups over here, to the people who's working already on this, with the multicultural groups. So this was one of the ideas to clarify or to make sure whether these people who have multicultural experience or cultural experience from apart from their country or outside their country, is there any impact, or is there any changes to their culture with regards to ranks Hofstede got? And this was one of my points that I will measure. So I think this can answer your question. Or no, the Hofstede, there is a debate about Hofstede cultural ranks or theory, which is, it says that his ranks is already outdated. But what in my position, I didn't adopt it. I didn't adopt his ranking. I've made the rank. I've adopted his questionnaire only, and I used it, and I got new ranks for different national culture. This one I compared them actually with the what Hofstede got at the end, and I show that some of the countries they do has differences. But I'm in analysis stage now, and I'm just looking at whether if I can make it a control variable of their experience with multicultural experience. So whether this has an impact or no, or an influence, like the experience or the sector and so on.